Good morning, and thank you for joining us for our weekly press conference. We have just one topic today, and it is the annual Pride Parade and PrideFest, which is scheduled for this Saturday, June 24th, just 2 days away. June is Pride Month, and the Pride Month, organized by Northwest Pennsylvania Pride Alliance, is Erie's marquee event during Pride Month. The parade will step off at noon from 11th and State Streets on Saturday, June 24th, again, just 2 days away. We will march north to Perry Square, where PrideFest will take place. We will share detail on PrideFest in just a moment, but first, let's talk about a couple serious issues. These issues are part of the story celebrated by this colorful, happy event that the city is immensely proud to host. I talk about our vision for the city of Erie often. That is, our great city of Erie is a community of choice, and that we celebrate 5 things, including our rich cultural diversity and our welcoming, vibrant neighborhoods. That is our vision for Erie. But the reality is that we as a nation have not reached complete equity for the acceptance of our LGBTQ+ neighbors. Many people do not realize that the first Pride Parade came about as a result of Stonewall riots, which occurred in the early morning hours of June 28, 1969, in New York City's Greenwich Village. Those riots sparked the gay rights movement. We've come a long way since then, but still have a long way to go. Consider these 4 points. First, recently, the Human Rights Campaign declared a state of emergency for LGBTQ+ people in the United States. As major obstacles to equality, the Human Rights Campaign cited heightened discrimination nationwide and anti-LGBTQ+ legislation, which included 417 anti-LGBTQ bills in the United States legislatures. This is just during the first quarter of this year. Second, according to U.S. Census surveys, the LGBTQ+ community has a higher rate of job loss, homelessness, food insecurity, and other daily struggles than any other American group. Third, according to a Gallup poll, between 2020 and 2022, more Americans identified as something other than straight, and in fact, 7.1% of all the 12,000 poll respondents identified themselves as LGBTQ+. Fourth, that same poll identified our young people born between 1997 and 2012. They are the largest age group currently identifying as gay. We must support them. As a nation, we have to do better. In Erie, we will do better. Our commitment is that we will keep our LGBTQ+ community safe from hate crimes and prosecute anyone who targets them. We will support LGBTQ+ owned businesses, and we will encourage more mental health support. And we will maintain the city's perfect Municipality Equality Index score, which I will explain more in a moment. The result for Saturday's events is to draw attention to the discrimination that exists, to remind everyone that our LGBTQ+ friends will always be welcome and valued here in Erie, and to celebrate our diversity. Imagine what an amazing city we would live in if each person were valued for their unique skills, abilities, and perspectives. Lastly, before I turn it over to Alex and Michael to tell you more about the parade and the festival, I'd like to mention how proud I am that we achieved a perfect score of 100 points on the 2022 Municipal Equality Index. The Human Rights Campaign's Municipal Equality Index ranks cities in 5 areas. They are non-discrimination laws, the municipality as an employer, municipal services, law enforcement, and leadership on LGBTQ equality. In May 2018, after I had been in office for 5 months, the city received a preliminary score of 34 out of 100 points. My team and I were shocked by this low score. Immediately, we took action to increase it. We designated staff and police liaisons. We created an LGBTQ+ advisory council, and we set a goal for the team to work together to achieve the maximum score of 100 points. In that first year, before the final score was announced, we made some progress, and we continue to make progress with every passing year. I'm thrilled that through the LGBTQ+ Advisory Council's leadership, we reached the maximum score of 100 last year in 2022. Our MEI score shows that we mean what we say about welcoming and supporting Erie's LGBTQ+ community. Now I'll turn it over to Alex Spoon, Executive Director of the Northwest Pennsylvania Pride Alliance and a key member of our LGBTQ+ Advisory Council. Alex will tell you more about a recent related legislative initiative and provide details about this Saturday's events. Alex, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I would just like to say to all the public help that we've received, so the police department, the fire department, all the emergency care management, who have really helped us make this Pride as safe as it's ever been. Their work over the last 6 months has helped us immensely. With that being said, this Saturday we do celebrate Pride. Erie has had Pride events for over 30 years. So the Pride movement in Erie started in 1992, and here we are in 2023 with that perfect 100 MEI score that I'm very proud to be a part of helping the city achieve. For this Saturday, a couple of things. There are going to be a lot of street closures, so we'll have all of that listed. I know the city of Erie will be sharing it, and so will we on our social media. We've got over 110 vendors scheduled for the Pride Fest itself. So as the mayor mentioned, the parade will be stepping off at noon from 11th and State Street. This is different than last year's step off of the Zone Dance Club. Those changes were made to be more safe. In today's political climate, the queer community is under attack, so we had to be as safe as possible, and this was the major change that we were forced to make because of the threats that the community is facing. When we get to Perry Square, the on-stage presentation is going to start around 1 o'clock on the Erie Insurance main stage. We're going to have HIV, STI, and other health services available at the Adagio Health and Wellness Zone, where organizations like the Erie County Health Department, they'll be there talking about smoking cessation. They'll also have Central Outreach, who will be there doing HIV and STI testing, along with PA Thrive. So we have all kinds of different vendors set up, from craft vendors to support groups, especially youth-related stuff. Now, why is Pride important? This year, as the mayor alluded to, we still don't have protection across the country and across the state for LGBTQ individuals. So one thing to keep in mind, here in Erie County, we do have this protection, and we have since the early 2000s, where nobody can be fired, they cannot be discriminated against when it comes to housing, public accommodation, or education. This is something that at the state level, Pennsylvania is still lacking. Yesterday, there was a press conference held in Pennsylvania to get the PA Fairness Act, or HB 300, pushed through. The House has already approved it, and now we're waiting for the Senate. The governor has hinted that he will sign it. So bills like this are very important for us to remember the reason behind Pride. It's not because we need to feel special. It's because we need to celebrate what we have received and keep pushing for what we still need. So we're hoping that through this PA Fairness Act that we can get this pushed through so that Pennsylvanians, queer Pennsylvanians, will no longer face discrimination. Now, as an ally, you may be questioning, how can I help? Maybe I'm not a member of the queer community. This is the time that the queer community needs you more than ever. We only have so many people, so we need you to vote, not only in elections, but vote with your dollars. Stuff like this is very important. Maybe you're planning your next vacation. Maybe because of laws passed in states like Tennessee, Texas, Florida, you choose to go somewhere else that's more welcoming. Vote with your companies. We've seen companies handle the queer community and situations that they faced incorrect. So maybe you choose to find a brand that is supportive of the queer community and you spend your dollars with them. And finally, the most important one is in November, make sure to vet all candidates that you're supporting and rank those causes that are most important to you and base off of those. Hopefully, for our sake, the queer community is in your top 5 and one of the main things that you're voting off of. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to the mayor. I hope to see everybody at this Saturday's Pride, and then we'll also have our Drive Your Pride event. And next Thursday, we're wrapping up Pride Month with Pride Night at the Erie Seawolves. So for more information, visit nwpapride.org.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you very much, Alex. I really look forward to marching with you on Saturday, and I'm happy to hear about the progress with the Pennsylvania Fairness Act. Thank you for your continued leadership with the Northwest PA Pride and our LGBTQ+ Advisory Council. Really appreciate that. Next up is Michael Wachter, who is co-chair of the Erie Insurance's Pride Alliance Affinity Network. Erie Insurance is a financial supporter of Erie Pride, and we are incredibly grateful for Erie Insurance's support. Michael, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and thank you, Alex, not only for allowing us the time to speak today, but for doing everything possible to make Pride as safe as possible for the participants that will be there. Thank you again for also the opportunity to talk about Erie Insurance and our support of the LGBTQ+ community. The mission of Erie Insurance's Pride Alliance Affinity Network, or EPAN as we call it, is to support Erie Insurance's goal of creating an environment where every employee can be comfortable sharing their authentic selves, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity or expression. Currently, EPAN has 369 members, which includes not only members of the LGBTQ+ community, but our allies as well. Our goal of providing a safe and inclusive workplace for all is rooted in Erie's culture and our values. Since 1925, when we were founded, Erie has followed the Golden Rule, which is one of our core values that was important to our founder, H.O. Hurt, as it is to us today. Erie remains committed to building and promoting an environment where all people are treated with both dignity and respect. And this is evident by the fact that EPAN is one of 9 employee-led affinity networks that Erie sponsors to educate, advocate, and celebrate a diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplace. As a leader of EPAN, I know we live that commitment every day. We at EPAN take enormous pride in Erie's support of its LGBTQ+ employees, customers, agents, and the members of the communities in which we serve. We also take great pride in Erie's continued support for the Erie Pride Parade and PrideFest, along with Mayor Schember and others across our community. In addition to our financial support of Erie Pride, almost 100 of our Erie family members and their families look forward to supporting Saturday's parade and PrideFest, not only with our presence, but with our enthusiasm, and most importantly, a hope for a more inclusive and equitable future. Thank you again for the time today.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. Erie Insurance's support of Saturday's Pride events is really wonderful, and I appreciate your work with EPAN as well. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are critical elements of the success of every organization because having unique perspectives around the table helps to eliminate blind spots. It improves our thought process and enables us to better represent diverse viewpoints. I hope that other businesses will follow Erie Insurance's lead to educate, advocate, and celebrate our diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplace. Pride is very personal to me because my son Joe is gay. I'll never forget the day he sat down with my wife and me to tell us that. If you asked me before, I could not have predicted how I would react. But when he told us, my immediate reaction was, Joe, I love you. You are my son. I could not be prouder of you. And we've really grown closer and closer ever since that day, which was almost 15 years ago now. Every person deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. I want to live in an Erie where diversity is valued by everyone. I want to live in an Erie where the color of your skin, your religion, your ethnic background, your gender, your identity, your sexual orientation, your language, and even which side of State Street you live on should not define you or divide us. What matters is the unique talents and skills and ideas that each person possesses. If who we are is shared openly and honestly, it makes us stronger as a community because we bring diverse perspectives to the table. Remember, we are better together. So remember, the Pride Month begins at noon on Saturday the 24th at 11th and State, and the march will be down to Perry Square, where PrideFest will be taking place. Please come and join us if you can. Now I want to close with a proclamation. I'll ask Alex and Michael, you can join me up here to hear this. And this is in recognizing Pride Day in the city of Erie. So whereas we celebrate Pride Month as a public reminder that the LGBT community has not and still does not enjoy the same civil liberties as other community members. Whereas people in the LGBTQ plus community play a vital role in Erie as educators, employees, business owners, social service providers, doctors, lawyers, musicians, artists, faith leaders, counselors, family, and friends. They are valued citizens who must have equal rights. Whereas Pride Day commemorates the Stonewall riots that took place on June 28th, 1969. I was about 18 years old then. When a series of confrontations erupted between police and gay rights activists outside the Stonewall Inn in New York City's Greenwich Village. This event sparked the international gay rights movement. Whereas LGBTQ plus advocates and allies strive tirelessly to create an equitable, inclusive society while fighting for dignity and respect for the LGBTQ plus community. We are proud to stand alongside the diverse LGBTQ plus community to denounce the racism and prejudice that still live within the Erie region. We pledge protection for all Black and brown LGBTQ brothers and sisters. We treat every individual with dignity and respect. Whereas Pride Month is an important part of my team's vision, which celebrates Erie's rich cultural diversity. Every individual in the Erie region is welcome and accepted for the unique talents and skills that each one of us possess. Now, therefore, I, Joseph V. Schember, Mayor of the City of Erie, hereby proclaim the 24th day of June, 2023, as Pride Day in the City of Erie. I call upon all our residents to rid themselves of prejudice and to value equally all fellow citizens, regardless of any difference such as race, religion, creed, ethnicity, culture, color of skin, sexual orientation, or gender identity and expression. I invite all residents to participate in full Pride swag this year and support Erie's LGBTQ plus community. I will present this proclamation. We can read it again on Saturday if you want. Bring it along.
I will.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, thank you. So that concludes this week's press conference. Please continue to follow us on social media for the latest updates on everything happening in the city. Everyone who spoke is now available for interviews. Thanks very much for being here, all of you, and thanks for watching as well. Appreciate it.